this is Maddie. What's up?
Yeah.
Hello YouTube, and welcome to my channel, or welcome back if you are a returning subscriber. My name is Maddie Michelson. I've got gum in my mouth and I'm trying to make it cute. I am an IFBB Bikini Pro. I am the CEO of Team MPowered Fitness. We are a lifestyle and contest prep coaching team with a functional twist. So what that means is that we pay a lot of attention to our athletes' internal health, whether that be going through dieting phases or whether that's if you're suffering from a functional issue, coming off of birth control, dealing with Hashimoto's, PCOS, endometriosis, all the things, we got you covered. If you guys ever want to set up time to chat, the link is always down below to apply for coaching and for us to set up time to get to know one another. If you are returning to my channel, thank you so much. Your support means the absolute world. I know that over the past few weeks, I have kind of been MIA. Well, not few weeks, but last week there was no video posted because it was my birthday. I had a birthday. For all of y'all that popped over to my Insta and said happy birthday, I appreciate it. That is all felt, seen, heard, and received with so much love. But today I wanted to sort of have a sit down chat with y'all about the girls, because I remember watching countless YouTube videos on breast augmentations and not really being able to find a ton on breast augmentations that were done by bikini athletes or by girls that just cared about training. So this past week, I went on my Instagram channel and I posted a question box for you guys to ask questions that you guys may have about breast augmentations, about my recovery, about my decision, what surgeon I went to, all the things. And I just wanted to take some time to answer those questions and to sort of talk about all the stuff breast aug. So without further ado, I wrote down your questions on this piece of paper. Let me take out my piece of gum so I'm not chewing and being gross. And actually what's grosser is that I just put this in the whatever. C'est la vie, as my mom would say. Let's chat about the girls. So a little bit of backstory, and this might kind of already answer some of the questions that you guys have had. I went to a doctor in Canada. To give you a little frame of reference, I am from Florida, and at the time when I decided I wanted a breast aug, I was living in Orlando. I now live in Tampa, just a few hours south of that. That's a story for another day. I'm actually moving again to St. Petersburg in about a month when I'm cleared for full exercise. But I chose to go to a surgeon in Canada. And a lot of girls had asked, why the hell were you going to Canada for a surgery that you could get done literally anywhere for a lot cheaper? Well, I did my research and I encourage you to also do the same. I'm trying to make sure that I don't get like in the, whoa, we're trying to stay out of the sun. So I did my research. I had a consultation with Dr. LeBlanc in Canada back in earlier than that, probably September of 2023. And I had chosen Dr. LeBlanc after going to about 18 consultations in Central Florida. I'm not over exaggerating that number. And surgeons essentially telling me like, we've got to go over the muscle because you want to train. We're not going to do an internal bra, which, to be completely frank with you all, I was dead set on an internal bra, and I will tell you why. And I just felt all these surgeons like didn't really take the time of day to answer my questions. And no matter what friends I had that went to them that had great experiences, it is about what experience you have, right? The decision to go with a plastic surgeon is no different than the decision to choose a coach. It is about who you resonate with, what speaks to you, what makes you feel most comfortable, right? These are your girls. This is going under the knife. Like, you gotta be set on this. So I had my consult with Dr. LeBlanc, and a few things stood out to me about his specific practice. Number one, off the jump, this man gives me his cell phone number, his nurse's cell phone number, and allows me to text them and ask follow-up questions. To which, if you know me, I asked a few. Dr. LeBlanc also did a very interesting thing that only one surgeon that I know of in the entire United States does, which is a nerve block. So essentially, he gives you an IV. That IV has electrolytes and a light sedative, and it starts to make you just feel relaxed. I also had him call me in like a Zofran just for anxiety, so I had taken that morning as well. From there, he does an ultrasound, or his anesthesiologist does an ultrasound on your back, and they decide where they're gonna put the tap, the nerve block, okay? Then once your IV is in, they flip you around to your backside like so. They stick it in where they've marked your back, and then you cannot feel anything from up here all the way down to below where your stitches are for the next 48, 72 hours. So after my surgery, I was actually going to get 10,000 steps on that same, day. Dr. LeBlanc then, once your nerve block is in, he has you go back into the operating room, in which that's when they push the rest of the anesthesia. Now, because of the nerve block, they actually don't need to use as much anesthesia. I've had a lot of people ask me, were you still out? Yes, I was. I was still knocked out, asleep. I don't remember anything. I didn't wake up at any time. I did start waking up back in the operating room. But I don't remember anything. I was all closed up at that point. He has a video of me and he was like singing in the background. It was great. So the purpose for the nerve block is for the patient's comfort, but also because when you wake up, there is no sort of nausea. I didn't feel like throwing up. I didn't feel like I had an elephant on my chest. I was completely fine. Also really helped me just to fly home the next day as well. And usually it's the first few days following surgery where you take the most painkillers. And I honestly, after one day, was not taking all the painkillers that I was prescribed. Like I was Gucci money. The other thing that Dr. LeBlanc does that other surgeons do not do is an internal bra. So he will actually do what's called a triple internal bra, where he does a barbed wire suture all the way along the bottom half. And he also does the collagen in the bottom half of your breast. The other thing that's very interesting about his practice is that he does not tear or rip the pectoral muscle. So I do have them under the muscle, which is one of the questions that a lot of the girls had asked on my Instagram page. I did go ahead and go under the muscle, but because of the way that the internal bra works, the double internal bra, and because of the way that he detaches the pectoral muscle, it's very non-invasive. It's not like very traumatic is the word for it. Like it's not very traumatic to your chest. And so I won't deal with when girls flex and their boobs get pressed out to the side. I won't have that sort of animation deformity. And I won't deal with any sort of lateral displacement where over time the breasts start to come separate out to the side. And because of the way that he detaches the pectoral muscle in the central part of the breast cavity, you don't deal with somastia, which is also known as uniboob, which is when the boobs are too big and you wind up with no cleavage and the boobs come together. It looks like one boob. The other thing that a lot of females deal with, especially girls who get bigger breast implants, which I do not have, is bottoming out. Okay, so that's when the breasts get, I think, pushed down, or just gravity over time causes them to sag, and you wind up with like a double bubble, which is like your breast and then underneath you can see the implant like loop underneath here, and I won't have that. So he had actually shown me augmentations like 20 years post-op, and these women looked fantastic. So that is why I chose Dr. LeBlanc. Now, I had always wanted a breast augmentation. I came from pretty full breast size. I had a 34B. I was a full B. Love my boobs. Actually never found myself like, when I would prep for shows, I never lost weight. I never I lost weight. I never lost breast tissue. Never like got super big, engorged or large breasts after, once I started gaining back weight. It was just something where I loved the way they looked. I loved the upper pole volume. I loved having a little bit of cleavage. I never wanted a size though where men or women would look down at me first and then look up in my eyes. I never wanted something that took away from, what God made me to be and who I am. And so I knew that Dr. LeBlanc was very conservative in his approach. So when I went to go see him, I actually had no idea what size, profile, shape, anything that I was getting until my consult with him. I just knew that I wanted them done. And it's a procedure, if you've been following me for a while, that I prolonged and held off for felt like years, like 2 years at this point. And the primary reason for that is I've been competing, and it requires you to take time off. And that's just something that I was not willing to do because I wanted to keep competing. I did not get this operation, and this was one of the questions that I was asked, because I felt like it was going to help me in the pro league, because it was going to help me in this sport. Clearly, I turned pro without it. Now, if I had absolutely no tissue and it affected my confidence, I 100% would have gotten it earlier, because I do think that your confidence on stage, whether it's physical confidence in your physical body, confidence in the package that you're bringing, boobs or no boobs, makes a difference, right? So if you have nothing and you feel like this is going to improve the way that you show up on stage and you show up in your prep, by all means, I support it. Likewise, if you're a girly like me who just wants it done, dang it, get it done. Do it for you. Do it for nobody else other than yourself. So when I finally had gotten to a place in my competitive career where I was like, you know what? I'm ready for some time off. I was getting ready to move. I did move. Now I have to wait to heal before I can move again. I was looking, to kind of go out on dates, which I didn't really think that through, because I have to wear the surgical bra for the next 5 or 6 weeks. And let me just tell you, I'm running out of clothes for dates. But, I was at a stage where I could take a step back from the gym, gain a couple pounds, it not be the end of the world. And so I chose to go ahead and get it done. I have really impressed myself with my ability to get back into training and whatnot. One of the questions that you guys had asked me, and I'm not really reading directly off the sheet, but it's kind of just naturally flowing. Hopefully that works for everybody. But one of the questions that I was asked was about training, and when I was able to get back to the gym. This is going to be different for every single person. My nurse had a very different opinion than my doctor and my surgeon. So my surgeon, my doctor, same person. He was like, come to me, ask me questions, because you are a high level athlete. It's going to be different than someone who's never trained before. Probably because I know what exercises and movements are safe without recruiting my pec muscles. So essentially, I was walking and getting 10,000 steps as soon as I could. Right now, my steps are averaging between 13,000 and 15,000 steps per day. Okay, I get up in the morning, I walk for an hour. Then through trace steps throughout the day, I pretty much hit that number. Macros, that was another question that a lot of people had. Following my surgery, I really didn't have an appetite for probably the first 3 to 5 days. I did eat at least 2 meals a day, and I stayed extremely hydrated, and I stayed on top of my protein as much as I could. I did do protein bars just because I needed something in order to get the protein in. I did protein bars, I did shakes. I kept my diet anti-inflammatory as much as I could. So for breakfast in the morning, I did a lot of things like pineapple. I did a lot of fibrous food. I did lots of antioxidant rich food. So we went and actually got Greek food one night. I did a lot of olive oil with vegetables and chicken, and I had some potatoes with that meal. So really prioritize anti-inflammatory foods. My macros were reduced. Not to the extent that I think a lot of girls think they need to reduce their macros in order to stay at a comfortable body composition. Your body, whether you want to believe this or not, does need food and nutrients to heal, okay? So I went into this operation eating about 2,100 calories, 2,100 calories. During my operation and my recovery, my coaches had set my macros at around 1,900. I wound up getting about 1,800 every single day. And then on top of that, I had things like a birthday where I went completely untracked for that day. And I guarantee you, I probably had about 3,000 calories. No, I'm kidding. But, you know, I did have fun on my birthday. And I've been going out on dates and using those as untracked meals. I do have about 500 flex calories in my program right now. So calories did get reduced by about 200, okay? 200 calories. Weight gain. Did I gain weight? Yeah, the implants weigh something, okay? So when I went to go see Dr. LeBlanc, he decided, it was very interesting how the consult process went. When I went in, I met with the nurse, and the nurse had me try on sizers. And she said, how do you like this size? Would you like to try bigger? Would you like to try smaller? And so we tried on I think we tried on 3 or 4 different sets of implants. And I ended up, I was between 2 sizes, and she said, okay, I'm going to write these down. I'm going to let Dr. LeBlanc know that you're between these 2 sizes. Then I went to go meet with Dr. LeBlanc, and Dr. LeBlanc gave me his professional opinion on what size he thought was going to be best for me. Now, in the operating room, that's when they would actually bring all of the implants in. They would put the sizers in me, sit me up, see what looks best, lay me back down, and then put the official size in. So he actually had, you kind of went into your operation knowing that you were getting a range of sizes. But when I was actually trying on sizers, one thing that I really liked about their office was that the nurse never told me what numbers were what. She just had me try stuff on and say what I liked. So I had a feeling it was about 350, which is exactly kind of where we landed. When I went in to see Dr. LeBlanc, I realized that I had tried on, I think it was I don't even remember, maybe like a 345 and a 365. And I was like really in between. Like I was like, I don't know which one. Dr. LeBlanc was like, we really should, the smallest that I would go on you, or no, it was 325. It was 325 and 385, I think, that I had tried on. And I was like, I think 325. I don't want to go too big. And he was like, the smallest that I would probably go on you is like 345, 350. He was like, because if we go too small, what's going to happen is you're going to have like these little hockey pucks that you just see like sitting on your chest. And if we go too large, he said, I'm not concerned about your body's ability to fit them. But he said, your skin is very elastic. So what's going to happen is even with the internal bra over time, this is going to be, it's going to be weight on your chest, and you're going to, back pain, things like that. So he was super, super meticulous with his measurements. I wound up with 345 cc's in my left breast, which is a little bit bigger than my right. And I wound up with 365 in my right. So it's like a couple tablespoon difference. But I don't really think that it's important to focus on what size girls get, because a lot of my friends had like 400 and something cc's. And I just feel like in terms of my body and my goals, also the fact that I started out at a full B, a 400 and something was just not going to look good on me. So following surgery, some of the questions that I got were things like, what was your recovery like? How were you able to fly back to Orlando within a day? I literally flew back. I had my surgery on Tuesday. I stayed the night Tuesday night, stayed the night Wednesday night, flew back on Thursday morning, and landed in Orlando Thursday, drove back, took a bath, and then drove back Thursday back to Tampa. So I was like perfectly fine. I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that I was eating immediately and that I was up and moving, just getting like circulation. Nothing too strenuous, but like I was really cognizant of moving my body. I was very cautious over, the first week or so, especially like once I got back to my apartment. I had nobody here. I texted a guy who, he's a personal trainer who lives in my apartment building, and he knew I was getting an operation. And I was like, hey, are you going to be up at like 10 p.m.? Can you come down to the garage and take my suitcase inside my apartment for me? He was like, yeah, sure, that's fine. So I definitely was very cautious about how I was moving and the things that I was doing once I got the operation done. Even when we were in Canada, we did a little bit of shopping because there's the exchange rate of the dollar. The dollar is actually valued higher than the Canadian dollar. So your money goes a lot further. I think that the dollar is valued higher. I think that's what that means, but your money goes further. So we did a little bit of shopping, and my girlfriend just toted around all my bags for me. It was great. So I was very just careful of that. And then at 2 weeks post-op, which was just a few days ago, I was 2 weeks on Tuesday, this past Tuesday. So when you're watching this, I will be almost 3 weeks post-op. So 2 weeks post-op, let's back up. About 6 or 7 days post-op, I had tape that went all around my boobs. I got to remove those tapes. At 2 weeks post-op, I got cleared to do body weight and lower body banded workouts. And let me tell you, whether you're going through surgery or just going through a shit time in life, I understand that it can be really, really tough to show up for yourself and do the 20% when you're so used to doing the 100% or the 95%, right? But every little thing that you can do really does make a difference. At 2 weeks, I was at the point at that time where I was I'm grateful that I had this little break from training. Honestly, if you're a competitor, breast augmentation or not, take a fucking 2 week break. That is probably the best thing for my mental health that I have ever done. And I was telling my coaches, I wish I would have done it sooner. I wish I would have taken a break sooner because my body and my mind and my soul, it needed it. And boy, did it respond well to it. But after 2 weeks, I was okay, I understand that exercise is important for norepinephrine, serotonin, and dopamine. I need these things in my life. So at 2 weeks, I was still doing my walks. I still do my walk in the morning. I do a 30 to 1 hour, 30 to 60 minute body weight circuit. I'll do things like banded side steps. I'll do banded kickbacks. I'll do cable kickbacks. I'll do GHDs. I'll do leg extensions, leg curl, leg press, the seated kind, not the inverted kind. Calf raises, I'll do box step ups, I'll do body weight Bulgarian split squats, I will do static lunges. So there's so many things that you can actually do that don't put any strain on your chest. I'm not holding any dumbbells. I'm not doing any movements where I feel my pec move. That's probably the most uncomfortable thing. And this will prove true. I will keep doing training just like I am doing with body weight and with lower body machines and things like that for about 4 weeks. At 4 weeks, at 3 weeks, I can get my heart rate up to 130. So that's the next progression. So this next Tuesday, I'll be able to do a little bit more strenuous cardio. Not sure I'm going to, but I can. At 4 weeks, I can do light upper body. Light. I think it's 4 weeks. It might be 6. But each surgeon has their own thing, okay? So at 4 weeks, I think that's what I can do. At 4 weeks, I can also take my tapes off. So right now, I have tape underneath. This is a collagen tape. It's not a steri strip. It's hard. It's cast-like. And I can take those off at 4 weeks. And then at 8 weeks, I'm fully cleared for all types of movements. Barbell, shoulders, back. I just got to make sure that I, ease into things. Moving forward, some of you guys had asked questions like, how is my training gonna be impacted? I have never really done a ton, I've done a ton of direct chest work. So I probably won't be doing any chest work. It's not necessary. It looks like I have a chest now. I will probably do normal back stuff, normal shoulder stuff. The only things that I'm going to be careful of doing are things that cause me discomfort. I really don't like pull-ups. I probably won't be doing any pull-ups. I can envision maybe doing like some close grip stuff, but nothing that's like wide grip. I probably won't be doing like any like chest fly, any like dumbbell chest press. I might do some machine shoulder press, like for my front delt, like a decline shoulder press. That involves some indirect chest work, but it's not anything that's going to be damaging. And I'm going to be careful during things like plate, tricep dips. All right. Other things that I was asked. Oh, I did want to talk a little bit about this collagen tape. So it differs from steri strips. A lot of girls get home from surgery, 2 to 3 days later, they're showering, yada, yada, yada. That has probably been the worst part about recovery, if I'm being completely honest, is the shower situation. I have to wash my hair in my sink. Thank goodness I have like a farmer's sink, but I literally have to bend over the sink and wash my hair. I can take this off to shower, but I have to use like CeraVe wipes on my back and make sure that I'm like cleansing myself all over the place. And then I can take baths, but up until the 3-week mark, I can't get my tapes wet. At 3 weeks, I can finally get my tapes wet, but then I have to spend 30 minutes on each side blow drying them with a cool blow dryer. And at 4 weeks, I can take the tapes off. At that point, I can start showering and taking normal showers, and my sutures should be dissolved. But yeah, that's probably the worst part about this. The other part that really sucked was constipation. And the constipation is really because of the anesthesia, because it also relaxes your colon or like paralyzes those muscles too. So it is really important that you're staying on top of your fiber, your hydration. And then I did go ahead and start taking, I went to a pharmacy in Canada and I got magnesium citrate. And I took about 600 milligrams of magnesium citrate for about 3 days, and I was easy breezy beautiful going. I just made sure that I stayed on top of lots of olive oil, lots of salmon, lots of greens, lots of whole grains, lots of water, aloe vera juice, all the good gut things. And I was just doing fantastic. I mean, post-op, absolutely fantastic. I did acquire a few things. If you guys are interested in watching or seeing what things I picked up to eat post-op, you can go and watch my latest video. My most recent video, I run you through like a grocery haul. I've gotten some greens drinks and I am still taking those because I will be on antibiotics for probably the next 30 days still. And antibiotics just do a number on your gut. If you take antibiotics for a cold or anything like that, if you've got any sort of bacterial infection, it kills off not only the bad bacteria, but also the good bacteria. So it's really important that you're taking care of your well-being by consuming things that are anti-inflammatory, that are going to promote smooth and easy digestion, and that you're also taking a probiotic to help re-inoculate your gut. So, let's see some of the other questions that, someone asked about profile. So I got high profile. These are Allergan silicone high profile, and it's the highest cohesivity. I think that's the word. Cohesivity. It's the highest one. So they're like pretty hard, and they're not going to be this hard forever. Okay, but right now they're still pretty hard. How has it impacted my confidence? Honestly, I love them. I wish I would have done this sooner. I love them. If you're debating, go get them done. Nipple sensitivity. Yeah, they're sensitive. It's weird because I can't like feel them, but they like sting, like when you touch them. Like they're numb, but there's something there. Like there's feeling there. And underneath here, it's same thing. It's like very tender, like very like it feels like, is it hard to not work out for a few weeks? Like I said, at the 2-week mark, I really felt like, okay, this is more for my mental well-being at this point. I would really love to get back into the gym. And yeah, sure enough, when I did, I felt so much better. Massages. I actually don't have to do any massages. Praise the Lord. But no booby massages for me. How do you follow up with the doctor in Canada? I text him. We actually will do video consult. So I had my 1-week post-op appointment with him. I will also have a 6-week post-op appointment with him. But I texted him yesterday. So he texts me all the time. He wished me a happy birthday. I was able to take my surgical bra off for like an hour, and he said that like I could put on a bathing suit for my birthday, but honestly, I just felt uncomfortable. You get so used to being so tight in this that taking it off like just doesn't feel right yet. I even sleep in this. So these are I got these from Walmart. I don't know what brand they are exactly. But it's like the only brand at Walmart, and I love them. Like this is the best surgical bra. They have like a little zipper here. You just like unzip it, zip it back up, and it's got like a little hook as well. Like I can show you. It's got a little hook right here in the center, which is really, really, really nice because it just keeps them pulled together, which is what you want. So yeah, I've been wearing these. I have them in like 3 or 4 different colors. And then someone said, were you worried about them being too big? Honestly, no. I think that if I had gone 400s, I would have been. I've heard about the whole thing of like boob greed and girls feeling like they, like didn't go big enough, but you get what you get. I really trusted this surgeon to give me a size and a shape and a profile that would suit my physique. And I think he did exactly that. Like certainly right now, they haven't fully dropped and fluffed or settled. I'm still a little inflamed. That's gonna happen. It's from the antibiotics. Obviously I haven't been training, so my muscles are also kind of flat. And when your muscles are flat, like my shoulders look flat, you know, but when they're flat, you feel fluffy, right? It's just like when you're in prep and you're flat and you're depleted, you feel fluffy. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to getting back to training, but in terms of the scale, like I was probably 4 pounds lighter leaving for the trip, and now I'm 4 pounds heavier, and the implants I think weigh like 1 point something. So roughly 3 pounds, and that will come off very, very easily. Most women do gain about 2 to 3 pounds. It comes right off, right? You have to keep into perspective that like you just had a foreign body placed into your system like not too long ago. And sometimes like the other day there was a fly in my apartment and I went like, whoop-ah! And like I was like, oh, and like you forget, and then you feel your chest move a certain way or it hurts and you're like, golly, I need to be careful. So you do need to be careful, and there's those little reminders that remind you that like, girl, you just had this thing done. But all in all, a 10 out of 10 experience. I will make sure to link Dr. LeBlanc's contact information below. If you guys go see him, please let him know that I sent you. I don't get any sort of kickback, but it would just be nice for him to know that you had found my page. If you guys are interested, he's willing to actually come on my channel and do a Q&A. So if you guys are interested, please leave a comment down below. I am more than happy to answer any questions that you guys have. I hope that this video didn't bore too many people, but I really wanted to come on here and just share my experience, share all the stats, all the details. I know that I had so many questions when I was first going to get my augmentation done, and I have a lot of friends that have since reached out asking questions about their future augmentations. So if I left anything unaddressed, either head over to my IG page and ask me a question there, or you can always comment it down below. I hope that you guys are taking care of yourselves wherever you're at. I hope that you are being kind to yourself and being loving to yourself because you only get one body. And I cannot wait to see you guys here back at my channel next week. For this week, thanks for tuning in, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.